Our experiences and cultures shape who we are, but sometimes they can limit our view of the world. This can lead to misunderstandings or stereotypes. However, if you talk to people and listen to their stories, you can understand them a bit better and better understand the world. With that thought in mind, we spoke with members of the African American Employee Resource Group, and they gave us some common questions that come up. Some of their members also shared their thoughts on these questions. So let's listen to them, and then let's talk about it.
Hair is expression. You identify with it, you make it your own. Myself, this is what I was born with. This is the hair that grows out of my head.
Well, I think that black hair is more noticed because of the different textures of our hair. And for so long, the black hair was considered unattractive and not acceptable, even by many people within the black community.
But I believe as the civil rights movement progressed and African Americans began to take more of a role in corporate America, I started to see where the hair trend has changed. And now, I mean, look at me, my hair is naturally curly, and I think black hair is so versatile, I can do whatever I want to do with it.
I've worn it straight, I wear it curly now, I've worn braids. You know, I think of it more as like a fashion expression, like a fashion statement. You know, it's just an expression on who you are.
And what does an impressionable teen tend to do? They dress up like their idols. So believe it or not, I had cornrows when I was in high school. It only lasted for 2 months before my mom made me cut them. But both of my teammates, black and white, all had cornrows because we were such big fans of Allen Iverson. So it's really not a black thing, it's just a human thing.
I would be remiss not to say that I think that dreadlocks and braids are not necessarily a hairstyle, but yet an expression of black heritage. I prefer black over African American.
I prefer to be called African American, and I say that based on the heritage of my family.
Personally, I prefer black.
I guess I prefer to be called Ryan myself, but ideally I know there's a big deal about African American versus black. I guess I identify more with just black.
Even though my ancestors came from Africa, I have no relation to it now. I would love to go to Africa one day, but it just seems irrelevant to me. It's kind of weird to call someone a European American, so that's why I would prefer black.
So what I think is, when it comes to categorizing people, so to speak, I think you could simply ask that person, what do they choose to be called? And I think that's more socially acceptable than to simply put them in a category, because I know that there's other black people who would choose to be identified as black and not African American, so I do believe that's more of a personal preference.
Because we are such a diverse people. We're from the islands, we're from South America, Dominican Republic, we're from all over the world. There are even generations of black Europeans. So to call us all African American would just not be true because we're not all American.
I don't mind either. I prefer you to call me by my name if you know me, but I do think there is some sensitivity around the word black because of its dual meaning. I think one meaning is being black, meaning you're of African descent, and the other meaning black as in something that's undesirable, dirty, ugly, and so on and so forth. I think the difference between the use of the words is in your word, your sentence structure, and your tonality. For example, if you were to use the word black and also the word but as a qualifying indicator, you might be using that word negatively, and it could be hurtful.
As you can see, the answers to the questions are just as diverse as the backgrounds of the individuals who answered them. I hope you can also see that even though the questions might have been a little uncomfortable to ask, the answers weren't so scary. In the end, if we're going to build relationship with the people in our lives and understand where they're coming from, we have to talk about it.